When the eagle soars, it never asks permission from the sky. It simply owns it. Chosen one, this is your reminder. You are not here to explain, apologize, or shrink for anyone. You've reached the point where every word you speak and every move you make is solid, firm, and unapologetic. You're not asking for approval anymore. You're claiming your space in this world like a mountain that never bows to the wind. Now imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, you've been walking through life holding back, dimming your shine so others feel comfortable. But now you've stepped into your full power. Your voice has weight, your presence has gravity, and your decisions shake the ground beneath the feet of those who once underestimated you. The universe backs the one who dares to stand tall, no matter who feels threatened. And here's a fact most people can't handle. Humans naturally fear what they can't control. They're not afraid of your failure. They're terrified of your courage to follow through. Studies show that people who stand firm in their choices are seen as leaders, even if others disagree with them. Why? Because confidence is magnetic. Your conviction forces others to confront their own lack of it. And when you finally stopped explaining yourself, when you drew your line in the sand and refused to step back, that's the exact moment you became unstoppable. And thank you, chosen one. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing like and subscribing. Help spread this message to more souls because it's our shared responsibility to spread the light. Thank you for being part of this mission. You're not just listening, you are part of a force, a shift, a movement that cannot be ignored. So, chosen one, let's dive deep. This is not the season for you to play small or water down your truth. This is the season where you roar like the lion who knows it doesn't owe the jungle an explanation. The world tolerated you when you were quiet, hesitant, and doubtful. But now they're shaken because you're not just speaking, you're standing on every word you say with no apology and no retreat. Here's what they didn't expect. You're not just bold, you're intentional. You're not just talking, you're moving with purpose. The moment you stopped trying to make everyone comfortable with your growth, the moment you stopped bending for approval, you became a force that can't be touched. Think about it. Before, your silence was your shield. You kept the peace by keeping yourself small. But now, your very presence is power. People can feel it before you even open your mouth. You've shifted from playing defense to becoming the standard. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg for respect. You command it simply by being who you are. And here's the truth they don't want to admit. They could handle you when you second-guessed yourself. They loved you when you doubted your worth, when you dimmed your light to keep the peace. But now that you're unapologetic, now that you walk like the universe itself co-signed your every step, they're uncomfortable, exposed, and even fearful, because deep down, they know what you've realized. Power is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself, your actions, and your energy. That's why they can't stand this version of you. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer their pawn. You've chosen to be the player, the decision maker, the one who moves with clarity and conviction. So buckle up, chosen one, because we're about to get real. This message will break down why the world is panicking over the fact that you are no longer playing their game, why your courage feels dangerous to them, and why they will never be ready for the version of you that means every single thing they say. And to the ones who thought you'd crumble at the first sign of adversity, here's the reality. You didn't fold, you fortified. You didn't give in, you grew stronger. You've become a walking example that once you stand firm in who you are, nothing and no one can move you. Chosen one, this is your season to walk like the eagle in the open sky, fearless and free. You are no longer waiting for the world to approve you. You are the approval. You are the standard. And from this point forward, you stand tall, unwavering, unapologetic, because that's exactly who you were meant to be. So, chosen one, are you truly ready to own every word you speak and every step you take like never before? This is the moment where you stop playing small and finally claim your space without apology. If you feel that fire in your chest right now, drop 777 in the comments to show the world you're stepping into this version of you that doesn't back down. And if this message already speaks to your soul, consider showing love with a super thanks, because every bit of support, big or small, keeps this mission alive and helps more chosen ones awaken to their power. Your energy fuels this movement, and you are part of the force that refuses to shrink. Take a deep breath, chosen one, because what comes next is going to challenge you, strengthen you, and confirm everything you've been feeling deep inside. This isn't just another message. It's a wake-up call that separates those who say they're ready from those who show they're ready. And believe me, if you are truly that chosen one, you'll feel that pull to stay until the very end. All right, let's get into it step by step, because this season is yours to own, unapologetically. Number 1. Stop waiting for their green light. You already own the road. The loudest boos always come from the cheapest seats, so why in the world would you wait for their applause? Chosen one, this is where the game changes forever. You've stopped begging for permission to be great, and that decision alone has turned you into someone they can no longer handle. For too long, you waited for the nod, the pat on the back, the approval from people who were never qualified to validate you in the first place. You thought you needed their green light, when in reality, the universe already handed you the keys. Now imagine this for a moment. You're standing at a locked door, holding the key the entire time, but too afraid to use it because you're waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay. That was the old you, timid, unsure, apologizing for your own power, but the chosen one you've become. That version threw the key in the ignition, slammed the gas, and never looked back. And yes, they see it. They see the confidence, the certainty, the unapologetic way you move, and it terrifies them. You know why? Because your power exposes their weakness. Your courage forces them to confront the truth they've been running from. They were never in control of you. They were only comfortable when you were doubting yourself, seeking their approval, asking, "Am I good enough?" But the moment you stopped asking and started deciding, you became a threat they can't manage. Here's the gut punch they can't recover from. You finally realize their approval was never real. They didn't want to see you win because your winning would remind them of everything they've been too scared to chase for themselves. Your glow highlights their shadows, and now that you shine without apology, they can't stand the reflection staring back at them. You've probably asked yourself, why do they act so different now that I've changed? Simple, because you've stopped playing by their rules. You've stopped dimming your light just to make them feel comfortable in their darkness. You've stopped giving explanations to people who never cared to understand you anyway, and the power you carry now. It's not loud arrogance, it's silent certainty. You walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere without saying a word, and they hate that they can feel it. Chosen one, understand this. The version of you that needed constant validation is dead. You buried that version the moment you decided to take up space without apology, and the version that replaced it, the version reading this right now, that one is dangerous. Not because you hurt people, but because you finally know who you are. You've stopped negotiating your worth, stopped shrinking for their comfort, and stopped making excuses for why you can't stand fully in your truth. Your power didn't come from their praise. It didn't come from followers, titles, or popularity. It came from the nights you cried alone. It came from the betrayal that cut so deep you thought you'd never recover. It came from the heavy seasons where you had nothing but your own will to keep going. You were forged in fire, chosen one, and that's why when you speak, people feel it in their bones. This is why they're scrambling, whispering, and watching you from the sidelines. You've become unpredictable. You're no longer that quiet, hesitant soul they could manipulate. You're strategic now, intentional, surgical with your boundaries. They can't bait you, guilt you, or talk you out of your purpose anymore. You don't speak to be liked, you speak to shift things. Your presence alone disrupts everything fake and shallow. People feel uneasy around you, not because you're arrogant, but because you're authentic. You're not bending anymore. You're not watering yourself down, and you're sure as hell not explaining why you are the way you are. You've straightened your spine and declared with every step you take, "This is who I am. Take it or step aside." And the best part, you mean it this time. No more negotiating your destiny. No more playing nice just to be accepted. If they can't handle your truth, they can leave the table. You didn't come to be tolerated. You came to dominate every room, every space, every opportunity meant for you. And that's why they're scared, because once a chosen one stands fully in their truth, they become unstoppable. You've stopped seeking permission, and that's the day you became free. So let them whisper, let them doubt, let them throw shade from the cheap seats. Because while they're busy talking, you're busy winning. You're not playing anymore, and that's exactly why the world can feel the shift. Number 2. The power of being real, when your private self matches your public strength. Lions don't need costumes to look like kings. Power speaks loudest when it's authentic. Chosen one, this is where everything changes for good. When the person you are behind closed doors is the exact same person the world sees. You've finally killed off the double life, the act, the pressure to look perfect in public while silently doubting yourself in private. That old version of you is gone. What you say is who you are. The power you preach is the power you live, and that's why they can't touch you anymore. The truth is heavy, that's why so few choose to carry it. You, chosen one, decided to carry that weight. You decided that masks are for people still afraid of their own reflection. Now, when you walk into a room, people sense that there's no disconnect, no contradiction between your words and your reality. Now, imagine this. 2 people standing side by side. One is a performer, all dressed up in borrowed confidence, talking big but terrified of being found out. The other is solid, doesn't talk much, but every move matches their message. Guess who everyone quietly respects? It's never the performer. It's always the one who doesn't need applause to validate their truth. This is why your presence is unsettling to so many. They don't know what to do with someone who is unapologetically consistent. They can't guilt you anymore because you've already owned your past. They can't threaten to expose you because there's nothing fake about you to expose. And that, chosen one, is the ultimate freedom. If you stay true to yourself behind closed doors, no one can close doors on you in public. You might be asking yourself, why does my authenticity make people so uncomfortable? The answer is simple, because it forces them to confront their own performance. You're not trying to look perfect anymore. You're too focused on being whole. While they're busy rehearsing an image, you're busy living a reality. Imagine this for a moment. You've just stepped into a room where everyone is wearing masks, and you're the only one without one. Suddenly, you're the threat, not because you've done anything wrong, but because you've reminded everyone else that their masks are just masks. That's exactly what's happening in your life now. And here's the beauty of it. You no longer over-explain. You no longer feel the need to convince anyone that you've changed. Your life speaks louder than any explanation ever could. The way you talk, the way you move, the way you carry yourself, it all screams alignment. Your power isn't in what you post. It's in what you practice when nobody's watching. People used to have leverage over you because you used to overshare, used to seek validation, used to crave someone else's stamp of approval. But now, you've closed the leaks. You've stopped giving your energy away to people who never poured back into you. You've pulled your power inward like a fortress that can't be breached. And they hate it. Because when you were inconsistent, you were easier to manipulate. They could guilt you, shame you, or use your insecurities against you. But now that you've done the shadow work, now that you've healed those cracks, you've become untouchable. Imagine this again. A house with broken windows is easy to rob, but a fortress with solid walls, locked gates, and no way to peek inside, that's you now, chosen one. You've become a fortress, secure, grounded, and impossible to invade. And yes, it bothers them, because your alignment exposes their deception. Your wholeness reveals their hollowness. They can't stand that you no longer need to perform to gain approval. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. The real power is in quiet consistency. Chosen one, you've reached the point where you don't need to prove anything. Your private integrity matches your public presence, and that is the kind of energy no one can fake. People can't catch you slipping because there's no double life to reveal. You're not afraid of the spotlight because you've already faced your own shadows. That's why you move differently now. You're not chasing likes, applause, or fake respect. You're simply living your truth. And when you live like that, something shifts. People may not like you, but they'll respect you. Even your enemies can't deny what's real. The consistency you carry now, it's rare, it's powerful, it's the type of presence that doesn't need to be loud because it already has weight. You no longer perform, you embody. And when someone embodies their power, it can't be borrowed, faked, or taken away. So let them whisper, let them roll their eyes, let them doubt you. Because deep down, they know they're witnessing something they can't replicate. You're living proof that freedom doesn't come from pretending. It comes from aligning who you are in private with who you are in public. Chosen one, this is why you've become untouchable. This is why they can't throw your past in your face anymore. This is why no rumor, no gossip, no attempt to expose you will ever work. You've done the work. You've faced your shadows. You've killed the double life. And now, you've become the same person behind the scenes as you are in the spotlight. That, right there, is why your presence holds power that can't be bought, copied, or stolen. Keep walking in that alignment, because while they're busy performing, you're busy transforming. And that, chosen one, is why you'll always win. Number 3. Your boundaries are fortresses. Enter with respect or not at all. People get mad when the free ride ends, but that's their problem, not yours. Chosen one, you're not asking anymore. You've stopped pleading for people to respect your limits. You've built your boundaries like castles now, with walls so strong that no manipulator, energy leech, or fake friend can climb over. The drawbridge only lowers for those who bring peace, not problems. Imagine this for a second. You own a mansion you worked blood, sweat, and tears to build. Would you let anyone just walk in with muddy shoes, track dirt all over your floors, and disrespect your space? Of course not. Yet that's exactly what you allowed in the past. People with chaotic energy, bad intentions, and zero respect for your value. When you stop being available for nonsense, nonsense stops calling. The old you used to explain your boundaries, hoping people would get it. You gave endless chances, believing patience meant strength. But what happened? You walked away feeling drained, unappreciated, and used. You learned the hard way that kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Now, everything is different. Your boundaries are no longer weak suggestions, they're royal decrees. And when people test you now, they find out real quick. The emotional loopholes are sealed shut. No more guilt trips, no more manipulation, no more just this once. Kindness without boundaries invites chaos. And yes, they're shocked because they got too comfortable with the softer version of you. They thought your heart made you weak, but what they didn't see coming was the sword you built out of pain, wisdom, and survival. Some might whisper, "You've changed." No, you've evolved. There's a difference. You're not cold, you're clear. You know exactly what and who you allow near your peace. Your peace wasn't handed to you, it was earned. You fought for it in silence, healed for it in solitude, and bled for it when no one was cheering. Why would you let anyone ruin that just to appear nice? So here's the message, loud and clear. Your boundaries are not negotiable. If someone can't respect them, they were never worthy of your presence in the first place. Respect is the price of admission. No exceptions, no discounts. Number 4, you don't reflect their lies anymore. You expose their truth. Real light doesn't just shine, it reveals everything hiding in the dark. Chosen one, you've stopped being the mirror that reflects people's insecurities back at them. You used to absorb their blame, jealousy, and projections, carrying guilt that was never yours to carry. When they lashed out, you'd ask, "What did I do wrong?" But not anymore. That version of you is dead. Now, when you walk into a room, you don't reflect lies. You magnify truth. And truth, chosen one, makes people uncomfortable. It shows them what they've been hiding, what they've been running from, and what they've refused to face for years. Imagine this for a moment. A bright light suddenly turns on in a messy room. The people inside didn't get messier. The light just revealed what was already there. That's you now. Your presence alone forces people to confront what they've been burying. Light doesn't create shadows, it simply exposes them. This is why people shift around you. They stutter, avoid eye contact, or act distant, not because you've done something wrong, but because your energy exposes their truth. You're not triggering them, you're revealing what's already inside them. You used to dim your light to make others feel comfortable. You used to play small, speak softer, tone yourself down just so people wouldn't feel threatened. But that old version of you, gone. Now, you're unapologetically too much, too honest, too certain, too powerful for those still hiding behind masks. And when you stand in full presence, their illusions crumble. That's why they whisper, call you arrogant, or label you judgmental. Deep down, they know exactly what it is. It's conviction. It's clarity. The truth doesn't hurt. It just exposes what was hurting all along. People distance themselves now, not because you harmed them, but because you revealed something about them they weren't ready to see. And that's fine. You don't have to fight, prove, or defend anymore. Your energy does the work for you. Those who are ready for truth feel drawn to you. The rest, they retreat because they can't hide behind illusions anymore. You didn't come to play, you came to reveal, and that's why you're powerful and why they'll never be able to handle you the same way again. Number 5. You stopped begging to be understood. Now misunderstanding does the dirty work for you. Clarity doesn't always need words. Sometimes silence is the sharpest answer you can give. Chosen one, you don't waste your breath anymore trying to explain yourself to people who choose not to understand you. The version of you that over-explained, over-apologized, and twisted yourself into knots just to be seen clearly. That version is dead. Now, when someone misinterprets you, you let them. If they twist your words, assume the worst, or build entire stories around your name, you don't chase after them to fix it. You've learned that some people want to misunderstand you. Why? Because if they saw you clearly, the illusions they created about you would shatter, and their control over that false story would be gone. The right people don't need explanations, they just feel you. Imagine this, you're in a room, speaking your truth plainly and confidently. Some nod because they understand, others smirk, roll their eyes, or twist your words. The old you would panic, thinking, how can I say it better so they get it? But now, you just walk out, knowing that the ones meant for you never needed a speech to believe in you. Misunderstanding isn't rejection, it's protection. You've realized that clarity doesn't come from long debates or endless justifications. It comes from alignment. Those who truly know your heart can feel you even in your silence. The real ones don't need paragraphs. They don't need convincing. And now you've embraced one powerful truth. Misunderstanding is a filter. Let them misread you. Let them cast you as the villain in their story if that makes them feel better. Because if someone can so easily distort who you are, they were never really connected to your truth anyway. The ones meant for you will never make you beg to be understood. You've finally stopped replaying conversations at night, wondering if you could have said things differently. You no longer carry the weight of fixing someone else's false perception. You're okay with walking away without defending yourself, because peace now matters more than being right. At this stage, misunderstanding is no longer your enemy, it's your ally. It does the sorting for you. Those who see you will always see you. Those who twist your truth will always twist it. And you just stand in your truth, silent and unshaken, because real power never begs to be understood. Number 6, your loyalty isn't a weakness, it's a sacred standard. Real loyalty isn't proven by who you hold on to, it's proven by what you refuse to compromise on. Chosen one, you've stopped wearing loyalty like some badge to show others how good you are. You don't need applause for standing solid anymore, because for you, loyalty isn't about appearances. It's about integrity. It's about living in alignment with your values, even when it costs you. People used to think you were loyal because you couldn't let go, because you didn't know your worth, because you were scared to walk away. They mistook your patience for weakness, your grace for naivety, your silence for ignorance. They thought you were blind to their games, but you weren't. You saw it all. You just chose not to compromise who you are while they kept proving who they were. Grace without boundaries turns loyalty into self-betrayal. Now imagine this. You're standing in the rain, holding an umbrella for someone who's laughing, enjoying the shelter, but never once thinking to shield you back. That's what your loyalty used to look like, covering others while they left you unprotected. But that version of you is gone. You've learned the difference between loyalty and self-betrayal. you've realized that staying true to your word doesn't mean staying where your spirit is being dishonored. You no longer prove your worth by overextending yourself for people who've already shown you they don't deserve it. Loyalty built on guilt isn't loyalty, it's a prison. Your loyalty now is sacred, intentional, and earned. You don't abandon people, but you do remove yourself when your peace, your values, or your purpose are on the line. You've stopped begging people to see your worth. You've stopped defending your character to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. When betrayal happens now, it doesn't break you like it used to. Does it sting? Of course, but it doesn't destroy you, because you know you showed up with clean hands and a clear heart. If they lost you, that's on them. Being loyal to your calling means you stop entertaining chaos just to prove your heart. The difference now is that your loyalty isn't about them. It's about you. It's about your integrity, your principles, your alignment. Anyone who can't value that loses the privilege of being close to you. Because when you're truly loyal to your purpose, you don't chase, you don't beg, and you don't compromise. You simply stand firm, knowing that your presence is the reward they couldn't keep. Number 7. Your peace isn't free. You guard your energy like gold. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially if they didn't help you build it. Chosen one, peace used to be something you begged for. You would silence yourself, rearrange your life, and even betray your own needs just to avoid conflict. You thought keeping the peace meant staying quiet, agreeable, and small. But now, you've grown, you've healed, you've learned the hard truth. Peace isn't given, it's protected. You don't just hope for peace anymore, you gatekeep your frequency. You've become intentional about who gets near you, what conversations you allow, and what kind of energy you let sit at your table. Healing is expensive, and you refuse to let people bankrupt your peace. Imagine this for a moment. You've spent years building a beautiful home, brick by brick, through sleepless nights, heartbreak, and heavy sacrifices. Would you let just anyone walk in with muddy boots and trash your floors? No. That's exactly how you treat your peace now, like a sacred space that not everyone gets to enter. Your healing came at a price. You paid for it in silence, in tears, in lost time, in rebuilding your self-worth when no one was cheering. So why would you hand that hard-earned peace to anyone who shows up with drama in one hand and manipulation in the other? Boundaries don't make you cold. They protect what's valuable. You're not leaving texts on read because you're rude. You're doing it because you no longer waste energy on what drains you. You're not explaining your distance because peace doesn't need an explanation. If someone wants access to you now, they have to come correct. People used to say you were too sensitive or too guarded, but you've realized that your sensitivity is sacred, and your guard isn't a wall, it's a filter. Not everyone deserves access to the healed version of you. Yes, you still love deeply, but now you love with boundaries. You don't pick up every call. You don't show up for every crisis. You don't allow people to dump chaos in your lap just because you used to be there. Your energy is rare, and rare things aren't for everyone. Now, you're no longer accessible to everyone just because they're familiar. Loyalty doesn't override discernment. The healed version of you knows peace isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about power. And from here on out, chosen one, anyone who brings stress, confusion, or distraction, they simply don't get to stay. Number 8. You didn't just survive the fire, you became the fire. The flames that tried to burn you down ended up lighting your crown. Chosen one, you're not out here barely surviving anymore. You've stopped tiptoeing through life, hoping to make it out of the fire untouched. You've been through enough betrayal, heartbreak, and pressure that would have broken most people. But you didn't just walk through the fire. You let it forge you. Every lie, every loss, every time you were underestimated or counted out, it all became fuel. What once felt like destruction, you now recognize as transformation. The heat that used to terrify you is now the same force that made you unstoppable. Pressure doesn't break diamonds, it creates them. Imagine this, a piece of raw metal thrown into flames. Most of it melts, but the purest part, the strongest part, remains. That's exactly what you became. You didn't just endure the flames, you became forged by them. Now, when the heat rises, when drama, tension, and chaos come for you, you don't melt, you don't panic, you don't fold, you stand still, grounded, untouchable. The very situations that used to break you now sharpen you. You're not fearless because life got easier. You're fearless because you got stronger. People look at you and wonder, how are they still standing? They see your strength, your peace, your clarity, but they have no idea the price you paid to get here. You didn't gain wisdom from comfort. You didn't gain power from praise. You gained it by surviving storms that were supposed to end you. And now, you've developed a kind of immunity that can't be faked. The same chaos that used to knock you down can't touch you anymore. You've become fireproof, untouched by drama, unmoved by hate, and unfazed by shade. When you become fireproof, the fire becomes your ally, not your enemy. That's why when people try to test you now, they find nothing but stillness. When challenges rise up, you meet them with grace, not fear. You've been burned before, but instead of running, you stood there, learned, and absorbed every lesson. Chosen one, you are no longer fragile, you are forged. No matter how hot it gets, you walk through the flames untouchable, undeterred, and unstoppable, because the fire that tried to destroy you only proved you can't be destroyed. Number 9. Your standards aren't high, they're a gate to your destiny. People who can't rise to your standards will always call you too much. Chosen one, you're done explaining why you expect more. You've outgrown potential, empty promises, and sweet words with no follow-through. Your standards are no longer negotiable. They are sacred checkpoints protecting everything you've worked, healed, and fought for. People used to say your standards were too high, but what they really meant was that your growth exposed their unwillingness to rise. They wanted you to bend so they could stay the same, and every time you bent, you paid for it, with your peace, your progress, and your power. Lowering your standards never elevates anyone, it only drains you. Now imagine this. You're a gatekeeper to a priceless treasure. Every time you let someone through who wasn't ready, they chipped away at the very thing you were protecting. That's why you stopped opening the gate for just anyone. You finally realized not everyone who looks good on paper is good for your purpose. Charm can't cover chaos. Talent can't replace character. Effort doesn't equal alignment. So now you move differently. You don't get impressed by empty gestures anymore. You watch for consistency, integrity, and humility. You notice how people treat you when they're frustrated, not just when they want something from you. The wrong person at the right time can still ruin everything. Your standards aren't walls, they're filters. They're not about pushing people away, they're about protecting your destiny. You've seen firsthand how one misaligned person can drain your energy, distract your vision, and delay your progress. And that's why you refuse to apologize for your requirements. You're not being hard to please, you're being deliberate, because at this point, you're not just guarding your heart, you're guarding your calling. So when someone says, "You're too much," understand they're really saying, "I'm not ready to meet you where you are," and that's okay. Let them fall away. What's meant for you won't just meet your standards, it will honor them. You no longer bend to be accepted. The right people, opportunities, and relationships will never ask you to shrink, because anyone meant to walk with you will see your standards for what they are, not obstacles, but proof that you know your worth. Number 10. You stopped talking about moves. Now you let results speak for you. The loudest person in the room rarely holds the most power. The quiet ones are too busy building. Chosen one, you've outgrown the need to announce everything you're about to do. You used to feel like you had to explain your plans, hype up your next step, or prove yourself with promises. But now, you've realized that real power doesn't need a megaphone, because impact always speaks louder than intention. Results are louder than declarations. Silence is often the best strategy. While everyone else is posting, bragging, and hinting at what's coming, you're in the shadows putting in the work. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. You no longer waste energy convincing people of your vision. The ones meant to see it will notice when the fruits arrive. And when they do, they'll know it wasn't luck, it was labor. Imagine this. Two builders stand side by side. One keeps shouting about the skyscraper they're going to build, showing off blueprints, promising the world. The other one says nothing. Brick by brick, day by day, they build. Months later, everyone sees which one kept their word. Consistency is louder than captions. Discipline is stronger than promises. You didn't reach this level by talking about it. You earned it by staying committed when no one was clapping, disciplined when no one was watching, and relentless when everyone else quit. That's why your results now have weight, because you didn't skip steps or chase shortcuts. People who once doubted you stay quiet now, not because they finally believe, but because they can't deny the evidence staring them in the face. The ones who watched closely know you didn't get here by luck. You built credibility in the dark, and credibility always outshines hype. Real impact doesn't beg to be noticed. It demands respect through results. You no longer seek validation, attention, or applause. You don't need to broadcast your moves, because the life you've built is already the proof. Your glow isn't from being loud, it's from being real, from doing the work when nobody was watching. And now, chosen one, when you walk into a room, people feel it. They don't just see the surface, they sense the depth. Because true power doesn't chase attention, it leaves a mark long after the noise fades. Number 11. You're not here to be the hero in their story. You're okay being the villain in their lies. If the truth makes me the villain, then so be it, because I refuse to play the fool in someone else's fantasy. Chosen one, you've outgrown the need to be liked in every version of the story. You've finally accepted that in some people's narratives, you will always be the villain, and that's perfectly fine with you. You stopped trying to manage how others see you because you realized something powerful. People will twist the truth to protect their own comfort. They will call your boundaries betrayal. They will label your growth arrogance. They will say your silence is disrespect, all because they can't manipulate you anymore. People love you as long as you play the role they wrote for you, until you rewrite the script. There was a time when you bent over backward trying to fix the story, desperate to be understood. You watered yourself down, softened your truth, and silenced your voice just to keep the peace. But that version of you is gone forever. Now, if speaking your truth makes you the bad guy in their delusion, so be it. You no longer audition for roles in stories where you don't belong. You refuse to compromise your integrity just to protect someone else's denial. Their version of you is not your responsibility to correct. If someone needs to make you the villain to feel better about their choices, let them. You know what you stood for. You know what you tolerated. You know exactly why you walked away. And here's the real power. You're at peace with your decisions, even if it means being painted as the problem. That kind of freedom takes courage. It takes strength to let people gossip, lie, and twist while you remain silent, steady, and focused. Sometimes being misunderstood is the highest form of self-respect. You no longer need applause to feel secure in your truth. You no longer chase validation from people who were never rooting for you, because at this point, you'd rather be demonized for being real than celebrated for living a lie. That isn't bitterness, it's alignment, and alignment always makes you unshakable. Number 12. You don't just leave, you level up. Every time you walk away from what no longer serves you, the door you close becomes the gate you rise through. Chosen one, you've stopped leaving situations with your head down, feeling like you've lost. Now, when you walk away, there's alignment in every step and power in every silence. What they thought was weakness was really your initiation into a higher dimension. They think you're quitting, but you're not quitting. You're upgrading. You don't just exit, you elevate. You're not walking out of something. You're walking into something greater than they can even comprehend. Goodbyes aren't losses. They're transportation to your next level. Letting go used to hurt. You'd grieve what you left behind. But now you understand. Holding on to expired people, jobs, or environments is what truly costs you. You can feel when a space is no longer fertile for your future, and you no longer stay out of fear, guilt, or habit. Imagine this. You're carrying heavy bags, trying to board a plane to your destiny. But the gatekeeper says, you can't board until you drop the extra weight. That's your life now. Every time you let go, you gain access to places you couldn't reach before. Every goodbye became a gate. Every no became a portal. Every ending became an upgrade in disguise. You stopped performing CPR on things that were already dead. You no longer chase after people who walked away. You've learned that some people were only assignments, not life partners. Some jobs were survival, not destiny. Some friendships were cycles, not covenants. Now, every time you release, you activate. You've realized that loss isn't always loss. Sometimes it's a relocation to greater alignment. What looked like rejection was always redirection. That's why you move differently now. You don't over-explain. You don't second-guess yourself. You don't negotiate your peace, because you know peace without truth is just silent chaos. You're not intimidating. They're just not ready for your authority. This version of you doesn't shrink to make anyone feel safe. You don't water yourself down to keep rooms calm. You enforce your boundaries without apology. For those watching from the rear view asking, what happened to you? The answer is simple. You stopped staying in places where your soul was starving. Now you walk in authority, not desperation. You're no longer trying to be liked or understood. You're focused on being aligned. You don't just leave rooms anymore. You ascend out of them. You don't argue your worth. You embody it. People either rise with you or fall away. You're not playing. You're activating destiny. And from here on out, Chosen One, every step you take is a divine yes to your next level. And now, Chosen One, you see it clearly. You're not the same. You don't play small, you don't beg for permission, and you don't apologize for standing in your power. Every step you take now is intentional, unshakable, and aligned with your purpose. This is your season to move boldly, without fear, without compromise. If this message spoke to your soul, drop 777 in the comments to claim it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the reminder. Together, we spread the light. Thank you, Chosen One. You're not playing anymore, and the world knows it.